What's going on, everybody? Back again today to talk about some more DC stuff. DC. Is there no end to the shit to talk about with DC? No, there's not. But this is a positive video. This is not a shit talking video. I have said on this channel many times that anytime a book or a comic gets adapted into a TV show or a movie, I tend to like the adaptation more. And the reason for that is because I look at the comic book source material as kind of a rough draft, and then when they do adaptations, I look at that as more of like a final draft. Up until we got the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we'd only seen this done once with an overall comic book universe, and several times throughout the years with like a character or a team of characters. You know, we had films that depicted like a saga of the Batman, the overall Batman story, with the older Batman movies, Michael Keaton, and then later on with the Chris Nolan Batman movies. We've had a Superman saga with the Christopher Reeve Superman movies that have adapted the Superman story. We had X-Men, we had Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. This has been done before, but it wasn't until the MCU that they were like, hey, do you think rather than trying to take all this source material of a single character and adapt it into a live action film franchise, we could take the source material of this entire comic book universe and adapt it into a film franchise? And that's what they did with the MCU. I like that stuff. I like it when they do the adaptations like that. I call it the filter effect. Because like I said, it's like they take the rough draft that is the comic books, they put it through a filter, and what comes out the other side is a finely edited, well put together final draft narrative of the story. Like all the shit that like was kind of out there and weird and out of the box, stuff that really didn't gel with the comic book readers and the fan base, they left that out. They only took the good stuff from the comics, made minor tweaks and adjustments to make it all fit together, because it doesn't always just fit together perfectly. And then what we got was a really nice final draft once it went through the filter. The first time we ever saw that was the DC animated universe. You know, Batman animated series, Superman animated series, Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond, all that stuff. In recent years, though, they started to do it with DC animated movies, such as Justice League War, Justice League Throne of Atlantis, Justice League vs. Teen Titans, Batman Hush, Justice League Dark Apokolips War. And we're going to talk about this one for a little bit. This was the end of this adaptation of the DC universe. And it was kind of bittersweet. This was an amazing animated movie. I really liked it. And for a while, I was kind of like, why are you guys ending it? You know, you're doing what Marvel's doing. You're just doing it in animated form, and it's been good for the most part. I'm really enjoying it. Please keep going. Well, the thing is, this animated movie universe was kind of just thrown out there. You know, in 2011, DC rebooted their entire comic book line with the New 52, and I guess the animation division, they were either told to do this or they just thought themselves like, hey, DC's rebooting. This would be a good point for us to reboot and, you know, start a film continuity based on the New 52 stories. And that's exactly what it was. It was pretty much all New 52 until we got towards the end of it, when they started to they adapted a couple pre-New 52 stories, like the Death and Return of Superman or like Batman Hush, for example. And then they also did some just their own stories. Like this is I hesitate to even say that this is based on the Darkseid War from the New 52, because really it's not at all. It's its own thing pretty much. And I think after doing that long enough, it occurred to them, like, especially once DC Comics decided to forego the New 52 and shake things up and get back to other stuff that they'd neglected for about 10 years, I think the animation department of DC also kind of went, why have we been limiting ourselves to the New 52? You know, it's like they started it off with this movie, Justice League War, which shows the Justice League come together for the first time and fight Darkseid. But then right after that, they jump into Batman, and he's been Batman for a very long time. Dick Grayson's already grown up and he's Nightwing. He has a son, Damian Wayne Robin. There's already been a version of the Teen Titans back when Dick Grayson was younger. A lot of stuff was just skipped because they were trying to keep in line with the New 52. Well, like I said, once DC Comics said fuck the New 52, we're moving on, the animation department, I feel like, was kind of like, why don't we do the same thing? You know, we can do exactly what Marvel is doing with the MCU and just do it in animated form, but why limit ourselves to this very New 52 centric universe, timeline, narrative? Why not just, you know, shake the Etch-a-Sketch, start completely over, and put everything on the table? The entire comic book history of the DC universe is available for us to adapt. And that's where we're at now. And I am very optimistic for it. For those of you who don't know, this kicked off last year with the first film in this new movie universe, which was Superman Man of Tomorrow. Yes, this is a retelling of Superman's origin story. I still recommend that you watch it. If you want to this is a great way to get into DC, especially if it keeps going forward, and I think it will. But this is worth watching. It's nothing new, super new. You know, it's still the typical Superman origin story, but there are some things in here that you need to see. For instance, this movie, not only does it introduce Superman, it introduces Martian Manhunter, and it gives his specific background for his introduction into this version of DC. It's a good movie. If we're rating movies from bad, good, great, this falls under the category of good. The second movie in this new movie universe that I'm pretty much over the moon about is Justice Society World War II. And this is the only one in this new movie universe that I don't personally own. I rented it and watched it. I've watched it about 3 times now. If you watched my video on the channel about that movie, I reviewed it with this whole kind of like, it's a meh movie. It's like, yeah, it's same as this. This is a good, not great, but good movie. And Justice Society World War II, I also was kind of like, it's good. It's not great, but it's good. Since then, I've watched it 2 more times, along with the third and fourth, technically just third though, movie in this universe, which is Batman The Long Halloween, both parts 1 and part 2. And now that I've watched all 4 of these movies that take place in this new movie universe, and I've watched the Justice Society World War II a couple more times, I'm looking at this new movie universe overall as a whole with a lot more positivity. And just to touch on Justice Society World War II, I want to amend some of the things I said previously in my review. I think that movie is actually pretty damn good, like borderline great. I was a little butthurt that it was a complete restart with this new movie universe, but now that I'm over that and I'm kind of seeing the more positive side to them starting over completely, they're now not limited by this New 52 narrative. They can tell, the entire comic book history of DC Comics is open to them to use as inspiration for their animated movies in this new movie universe. And that's great. Justice Society World War II gives us so much for this new movie universe. It introduces our Flash, our Barry Allen Flash character. That's great. So now we've got a Superman and we've got a Flash. Then it shows him time travel back in time to World War II, and he meets the Justice Society. Great. Now we've got a Justice Society, which consists of Hawkman, Wonder Woman, Hourman, Black Canary. Who else? Who am I missing? Jay Garrick, the Flash, the Silver Age Flash. No, that's the Golden Age Flash. I'm sorry. So yeah, it gives us our Justice Society. Then, later on in the movie, in this World War II timeline frame era with the Justice Society, Barry Allen meets another version of Superman, proving to him he has not just traveled back in time, he has traveled to an alternate reality. So now we've got the multiverse. This movie gives us so much. It gives us our Earth 1, Earth 2 classic DC multiverse dynamic. It gives us a Justice Society. It leaves us open to the idea of multiverse stories, and it just keeps building more and more. And then we get to Batman The Long Halloween, which might be my favorite Batman animated movie now. This is pure Batman goodness. It's not Batman in outer space wearing some crazy high-tech bat armor suit that he made so that he can compete with alien gods. This is Batman in Gotham City trying to be a detective, solving a serial killer mystery murder story. And it's great. I love the animation of this new movie universe. When the action happens, it's good. It's much better than the previous movie universe, the New 52 based one that they were doing. This animation is much better. And just like I said, just because it's Batman in Gotham City solving a murder mystery doesn't mean that there's not action. He fights mobsters, he fights highly trained mob assassins. A lot of his classic rogues galleries in these movies: Joker, Two-Face, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Penguin, and he fights them all, and the fight animation is great. So those were really good. And then at the end of part 2, there's an after credits scene. It's Halloween night. The doorbell of Wayne Manor rings, and at the door is Flash, Barry Allen Flash, from the Justice Society World War II movie, along with Green Arrow. So now we have a Green Arrow as well. They're building, they're doing it so smartly. They're just like with the MCU, just animated. They're building, they're setting the foundation, laying the building blocks of the foundation so that they can build to a bigger universe, and it is progressing super well. I cannot recommend this movie universe enough. I just can't. So, where does it go from here? Well, the obvious answer is they're building towards a Justice League. But what does that mean? Are we going to see a movie where the Justice League comes together for the first time to combat some great threat? We've seen this done in a couple of different ways. In the live-action Justice League movie, both versions, Bruce went around and put the team together because he knew there was some great threat coming. In Justice League War, the animated movie where they all first come together, Bruce doesn't gather them, no one gathers them. They all just end up together because they are all responding to the Darkseid's invasion at the same time. This is a bit different though. You know, in this movie, the premise of building the Justice League is when Barry Allen went to that alternate reality and he hung out with the Justice Society for a while during World War II, that inspired him to build a team. So he came back to the normal reality that he's from, and he at first approached Superman with the idea. He was like, yo, maybe we should make a team. Maybe we should all team up. And now it looks like we could be more effective that way. And now it looks like they're going around and they're just building the Justice League just because. Not because there's some big threat on the way that they're aware of, and not because they're all responding to a threat that's already there. They're just building it up and coming together just because. Which makes me wonder, are we really going to get a Justice League movie where it shows them all come together? Or maybe the very first Justice League movie we get in this new movie universe will just start out with them all together. Who knows? Who knows? But that being said, we are still missing some key players here. Yes, we have seen a version of Wonder Woman, but it was the alternate reality. I'm going to refer to them as Earth 1 and Earth 2. That's classic DC multiverse stuff. Earth 1 is the normal universe that we're mostly familiar with the Justice League. Earth 2 was always the alternate reality that had the older version of the heroes from the Golden Age, and that's the Justice Society. So think about it like that. If I say Earth 1, I'm talking about Justice League. If I'm saying Earth 2, I'm talking about old-timey World War II Justice Society. So we've seen an Earth 2 version of Wonder Woman, but we've also seen an Earth 2 and Earth 1 version of Superman. So who's to say that there's not another version of Wonder Woman on Earth 1? There probably is. And then you got to think, well, what about a Green Lantern? We saw Aquaman, Justice Society, I forgot. We got to see Aquaman from Earth 2. Who's to say there's not an Earth 1 companion of him on the Earth 1 reality? There probably is. So, yeah, but the Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps. So you might be sitting here thinking, well, great, this movie universe is progressing. They're building the foundation. Great. But based on what you're telling me, we're going to need a Earth 1 Wonder Woman movie. We're going to need an Earth 1 Green Lantern Corps movie. We're going to maybe need an Aquaman movie. And it would be nice if they threw in another female character onto this Earth 1 Justice League. Black Canary was already on the Justice Society. Maybe they could do the Earth 1 version of Black Canary, which is Dinah Lance instead of Dinah Drake, whatever the hell her name was. Maybe. I also think Hawkgirl would be a good option, but based on her popularity from the DC animated universe. And yeah, but also I don't think Hawkgirl needs her own movie. I think she can kind of be introduced in the first Justice League movie. But that still leaves Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, a lot of stuff that has to be built up before we get to the Justice League. Or does it? On the off chance that there is anyone from DC watching this, I'm going to make a recommendation. A while back, you guys did a Wonder Woman movie, animated, called Wonder Woman. And it's just a basic, really just well-rounded Wonder Woman origin story, introduction story. It's not overly complicated. It is somewhat similar to the Wonder Woman live-action movie, but it's good. It serves the purpose that we need it to serve. It introduces Wonder Woman and tells her story of how she became Wonder Woman and got involved in superheroics. And then you guys also, back in the day, did a Green Lantern origin movie, Green Lantern First Flight, which is, it's Hal Jordan's origin story, how he became a Green Lantern, introduces the Green Lantern Corps, introduces Sinestro, shows Sinestro become a Yellow Lantern, become evil. And then also, another one that I don't own, later on down the road, you guys did a anthology Green Lantern film called Green Lantern Emerald Knights. Now, what I'm suggesting here is maybe, just maybe, rather than trying to do a brand new Green Lantern movie and a brand new Wonder Woman movie and a brand new Aquaman movie, maybe just release a statement, put it out there that these two movies are part of this new movie universe. I get it. So far with the new movie universe, you guys have been trying to make the animation line up. All the animation is similar. But the thing about that is, fuck that. Who cares? Like, who cares? We will get over it. If it gets us to the Justice League and to bigger and better stories faster, I am totally okay. And I think I speak for most DC fans. I am totally okay with these movies serving as the origin stories / introduction stories for both Wonder Woman and the Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps. So, boom, if you just include these as part of the canon of this new movie universe, you've got Wonder Woman and Green Lantern done already as well. So now we would be at Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Barry Allen, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and then who else have we also seen? Martian Manhunter, because he was in Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and Green Arrow. He showed up with Barry Allen at the end of Batman: The Long Halloween Part 2. We're already at 7 Justice Leaguers. And like I said, if you want to, that leaves maybe an Aquaman movie. But you could also, Aquaman, and if you want to introduce another female like Hawkgirl, you could include her and Aquaman, introduce their Earth 1 versions into the Justice League, the first Justice League movie. You don't need to give them their own movies. So we could already be there right now if you just kind of make it easier on yourselves and just include these in your canon. I'm already looking at them that way. Obviously, if that's not how it pans out and they end up doing a new Green Lantern movie and a new Wonder Woman movie, so be it. But as of right now, I'm kind of looking at it as like, this is the origin for Green Lantern in this new animated movie universe, and this is the origin for Wonder Woman. So we're pretty well established with our core Justice League roster at this point. Another reason I think Hawkgirl, by the way, would be a good addition is because we saw that on Earth 2 with the Justice Society, Hawkman is on that team. And I think that'd be a cool dynamic to play with because they're already supposed to be like star-crossed lovers who are constantly reincarnated every time they die. And I think that would be an interesting dynamic to play with, of like they've been reincarnated across realities. Something like that maybe, I don't know. So I think Hawkgirl would be a good introduction. But yeah, if you include these movies, you make the job a lot much more easier on yourself. And I will say this, while this is a great Batman movie, well, there are 2 of them technically, but it's really just one story. While these are great, it's a great Batman story, it's not a Batman origin story. At the start of part 1, he's been Batman already for probably about a year. So, if you really want a Batman origin story, there is an animated film adaptation of Batman Year One that is just that. It's a Batman origin story. You could also kind of like fudge that in your brain to include that as part of this movie. Even better. So, that's my recommendation, is that Overall, I'm really excited about this new animated movie universe. I can't wait to see more. I will buy every single one of these on Blu-ray. And I really hope that they just kind of like make it easier on themselves and just include these two movies as part of this new movie universe. Now, where do we go from there? Talking about like the first Justice League movie, the first movie where they all come together. Two things I want to say. One, do not throw them up against Darkseid immediately. Darkseid is one of the most evil, biggest, bad motherfuckers that the DC universe has. You don't waste Darkseid on the first Justice League story. Don't do that. Save him for later, build up to him slowly. Do a New Gods movie and show a little backstory about the war, the eternal, everlasting war between New Genesis and Apocalypse. Introduce all of the New Gods, both like Orion, Lightray, Forager, Highfather, Big Barda, Scott Free, Calabac, Steppenwolf, Desaad, Darkseid. Introduce all of these characters. Do a New Gods Fourth World movie to introduce them at the very least before you go ahead and bring Darkseid down upon the Justice League. And then also, since you are establishing you have established a multiverse in that Flash has already traveled between realities. You've seen Earth 1 and Earth 2, Justice League and Justice Society. Don't feel the need to rush into an alternate reality story like Crisis on Infinite Earths. Save that for later as well. Build up to that slowly, you know? Let the suspense really get to us to where we're like, oh, when's it gonna happen? Don't just shoehorn it in there. And then on the subject of the multiverse, since you guys have established a multiverse with this new animated movie, saga, universe, whatever, I also think that like there are some animated movies you guys are making that you could also include as part of this universe. One being Superman Red Son. You know, you've already clearly made it clear that there is a multiverse based on Justice Society World War II. And I think the animation from Superman Red Son is similar enough to, it's close enough to where we could kind of fudge it and be like, that's another alternate reality. So now we've got another alternate Earth with where Superman is a Soviet and yeah, all that stuff. And then also you have the Injustice movie coming out, which is evil Superman kills the Joker and becomes a dictator. That's a good one. Include that. Build up. If you want to build more alternate realities, great. That's fine because I can keep track of all of them in this format. In these movies, the movies are what? You know, where's the runtime here? 86 minutes, 85 minutes, 87 minutes. Yeah, they're 74 minutes, little over an hour of my time. So if you want to create alternate realities for this multiverse just out the wazoo, go ahead and do it because in this format, I can easily keep up with all of them. So, and that'll only make it better when you finally do build up to that Crisis on Infinite Earths, all of the multiverses falling into chaos kind of story. So yeah, I'm really optimistic for this movie universe. I cannot recommend it enough. If anyone out there has been hesitant about like, how do I get into DC? What's the best way to do it? The DC animated universe from the early 2000s, late 90s to early 2000s, that's still a great way, but this is also showing promise and it's relatively early at the beginning. Like right now to catch up, all you would really need to watch is, like I said, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern First Flight, and if you want to watch Batman Year One, go ahead and watch Batman Year One. And then also Batman Long Halloween Part 1, Batman Long Halloween Part 2, and Justice Society World War II. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at 7 movies. 7 movies that are each a little over an hour. So it's relatively new. It's in its early stages. It's showing a lot of promise. It's building up well. I highly recommend people get in on this if you're not already watching it. I can't recommend it enough. So that's my take on that. Anybody who agrees with me, disagrees with me, has some thoughts, leave some comments below, get a discussion started. If you liked what you saw here, please hit the like button. Check out some of my other videos, maybe subscribe to my channel. And other than that, I will see you guys next time.